welcome. This is your first time here.
This is my first time on your show. I'm so excited.
I'm excited to have you here. You came up to me at an Oscar party and said, I'm going to be on your show.
I was in awe. I was starstruck. I seriously have been watching your show probably far too long than I should admit, and I wanted to be you.
Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with watching my show for a long time. I don't have more than 5 years, no. And you wanted to be a talk show host.
I did. I wanted to be a talk show host. I wanted to be a mixture of you, Tyra, and Barbara Walters all into one.
Well, you can. You can do whatever you want. Put your mind to it. Clearly. I mean, you wrote a book.
Well, thank you.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, so you were at this, because I left. What time did you leave that party? I left at 2:30.
I left much later because I went straight there. I went home, changed into sweatpants, took my bag to set, and went straight to work with my hair and makeup still on.
Wow. So
yeah, I didn't sleep at all.
Wow. So you were part of the conga line.
I was part of Madonna's conga line, yes.
I left before Madonna started the conga line. I knew that was going to happen, and I said, bye.
Yeah. No. I was kind of wrangled in there. I don't think I had a choice, but it was fun.
Was Mick Jagger there yet? I
think he was. He was there. It was a crowded room.
It was a very crowded.
Bono.
Yeah, everybody was there.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of surreal.
But you grew up. Her dad is Phil Collins, so I would assume that you knew. Like a lot of, growing up, didn't you meet a lot of celebrities? And
yeah, I mean, I definitely had my fair share of run-ins, but they're people.
But it's great. Yes, they are. We're all just people. We pump gas and put money in meters. And so you were nominated up against Meryl Streep for a Golden Globe. How crazy? I mean, that must feel
completely surreal. I just even having my name in a sentence with Meryl Streep was something I never ever imagined. But total honor.
And you were raised in England.
I was raised in England. So I was born there and then moved here when I turned 5.
Oh, but do you still have an accent?
Well, when I go back to England, I think I pick up a few words here or there, and I come back and my friends say that I have a bit of a British thing going on, which...
Hello.
Hello.
Like that.
That's just like that,
yeah.
Exactly.
I'm really good at accents. Hello, governor. This is, no, it's like uncanny. So let's talk about the book. You really are it's called Unfiltered. You talk about in eating disorders, you talk about a lot of different things, and what made you want to write this?
Strangely enough, social media. Actually, my Instagram account, when I formed it, I had no idea that this really supportive, encouraging group of young women would surround it, and they started sharing their stories and insecurities and experiences with me, but always prefaced it by saying, I'm sure you could never relate, because you're in Hollywood or you're an actress. And all I wanted to do was reach out and say, oh God, little did you know I have these same experiences as you, and here's my story. And I finally got to the point, I'm 27, I'll be 28 soon, and I became at a point where I was at peace with a lot of things, and I thought, I want to be held accountable for these things in order to move forward, and I have no shame about my experiences, and neither should anybody else. So this is kind of my way of starting a bunch of conversations about things that all young women can relate on.
Good for you. I mean, this is a book I would highly recommend if you have daughters, even sons. I think, everybody can, but I think especially teenage girls and younger should read this book, because it really gives you some advice that everybody needs at that age. And for someone to think that just because you're rich or famous or whatever, you don't go through struggles. Sometimes actresses go through more of a struggle because the pressure on you to be beautiful and thin and perfect is even more. But it filters down into society, and young girls looking at this saying, I need to look like that. So it's a great book for kids to read. Happy to see you again.
So good to see you too.
A lot has happened. It was
everyone.
Everyone's happy
people. So nice.
Can you do the split?
No. And I'd love to say this would be my first opportunity to try, but I think in these stilts, it would be an epic fail.
Yeah, it would be a very long split. Well, I have tight pants on. I just tried. I know that I can't anyway, but I wanted to see how low I could go.
How did it go?
I can go pretty low. These are pants that are not made for splits. So, so what a year you've had. So congratulations on the Emmy and Golden Globe nominations for Emily in Paris.
Thank you.
And you got married. You found a decent guy.
I did. I got married.
You're a decent guy.
Thank you. Yeah. It was quite the year.
Yeah. And so you got married. I just saw you next to a waterfall. Where was this?
Oh, yeah. It was a place called Dunton Hot Springs in Colorado. We had never actually been there until about the day before we got married, which was really fun planning a wedding before visiting the location. But it was stunning, and we love nature. So
Yeah, I know. Y'all really love nature. You're both. How did y'all meet?
We met, we both are in the industry, and we have parents that are in the similar industry as well, but we met randomly, actually. So we were kind of surprised we hadn't met yet. We'd been in the same rooms a bunch of times and never met, but it was kind of one of those cheesy but true love at first sight
And
things.
did you both know right away that you were both outdoorsy?
No. He did not know that I was very outdoorsy. I don't think I knew I was quite as outdoorsy as I became. But I grew up in the English countryside, so I've always loved being outdoors. But we've embraced it.
Did he like being outdoors as much as... Because the two of you together are always someplace interesting, it seems.
We are. We really like embracing new adventures.
So where's
yeah.
this?
Oh, this is on our honeymoon in Norway. We went all around Scandinavia on like a foodie adventure tour.
Now, I've never been to Norway, but that semes beautiful and cold.
Stunning.
Was it cold?
Freezing. And if anyone knows me, they know that I'm just like not a fan of the cold. But I embraced it. We got in the water, which is freezing, beyond freezing.
Yeah, I saw you jump in the water.
Yes.
And then, so this treehouse, we have a picture of the treehouse that you stayed in. And so that's where you, and what happens in that treehouse? Like what,
Ellen?
Well,
a lot happens in that treehouse.
I want to know everything.
Everything.
No, but like, what's
that's a tree going through the tree. Yeah, it's wild. So this is in the Swedish Laplands, and every treehouse is done by a famous architect, and we stayed in the one that you just saw, and it has a literal tree that goes in the middle of it, and there's this netting that you can lay on your back and stare at the stars. It's so beautiful, it's so romantic. It's also odd because there's obviously like no piping that goes up to the treehouse. So like it's very close quarters, and you know, when you go to the bathroom, it's you have to do anything you're gonna do into a paper bag, which then gets incinerated, which then turns to dust, which gets buried and made into a tree.
No.
So it's like, you know, it's eco-friendly. It was intimate, I'll tell you that much.
No. I would not do that.
There's so much no to that. At 4 a.m, if you have to pee or whatever, you just have to remember the bag.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I love architecture, and that looked really cool. And that's why I was asking, because it didn't look like there was electricity or plumbing or anything there. It just looked pretty.
It's pretty.
Yeah. And then you swam with a, well, first let's talk about the moose thing, because I want to get to the swimming with the whale, because that was incredible.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you learned, you were calling a moose, not on a phone, you were calling a moose just to see it, not to shoot it. It wasn't like
no. This is just purely for the joy of finding a moose.
Right. So here's a guy, we have a clip of a guy teaching you how to call. It sounds like a moose in distress.
I know. Honestly, lovely Mikhail was our moose guide aficionado. He's been doing it for like 40 years. We didn't know what noise was going to come out of his mouth, and he prefaced it by saying, "This may be funny to some of you." And I was like, "No, it's not. It's going to be so not funny." And then it started, and the entire time I had to just stand with my back, and all you saw was my shoulders doing this because I couldn't keep it straight. But
Did you learn how to do it?
I heard it for 2.5 hours, so I feel like maybe. We didn't see a moose, though. It didn't work.
Yeah. It sounds like a moose would have a deeper, you know, instead of, oh. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and then I want to look at the whale that you swam with, which is incredible. I can't imagine doing that. We'll be back. More with Lily. That's Lily Collins and Emily in Paris. It's a huge hit on Netflix. So this is a clip from season 2. What happens in season 2?
More adventures with Emily and the love triangle that we left off in. More fun and, you know, Emily-isms in the workplace. So much more adventure there. Lots more in the French culture. And a new classmate in French class who intrigues and annoys her, and we'll see where that leads.
And there's a scene in a steam room where you're with naked people. They're naked, right?
Yes, they were. Yeah, I essentially spent the day at the spa, but they were naked or topless, and it's not normal to spend a day at work like that. Obviously, it was totally done respectfully, but I didn't know where to look. It's just like weird because I'm like meeting actors for the day, and you're like, hi. Yeah, you did great in that scene, and it's like, it's not weird to say. It's just bizarre.
Right.
But I mean, it felt nice to be in a steam room all day. I
Yeah,
guess.
well, that's good for you anyway. Hydrate.
Good for my skin.
All right, so let's take a look at this. So you're in Tahiti, again, traveling, being outdoorsy, and there's a whale and a baby, a humpback whale and her baby, and you just jumped in, and look how close she is. Watch how close she gets.
Whoop, there, that's me. Yeah.
That is incredible.
It was, so that might look terrifying. I don't know, maybe, well, there, I looked very happy. I was very happy right there. It was the most calming spiritual experience. It was very unexpected. It wasn't even the season to really see them that closely, let alone at all. And I was watching my husband surf, and all of a sudden the captain of the ship said, "There's a whale, do you want to jump in and swim with it?" It's like, I never thought I'd hear those words, and I just went, yes, and I didn't even think of it, because I'm deathly afraid of sharks. I watched Jaws at far too young of an age, and but I just jumped right in, and all of a sudden a baby showed up, and we realized it was the mother and her baby, and I mean, it was as close as you are, and they both just stared at me for like 30 seconds, and I felt so calm.
Yeah.
It was magic.
I would
was.
love to do that. Yeah, but I've heard there's just highly intelligent beings, and God, lucky you. That's amazing.
It was special. Maybe Emily in Tahiti, I don't know.
Yeah.